A striking head and gangly legs. Not an ostrich, a Rhea. And it's not the only one. They reproduce magnificently right here in Germany. This is the only place in Europe where these giant birds, also known as nandus, are found in the wild. Flocks of them roam the fields as if they'd always been here. But what are these odd creatures? On the road in western Mecklenburg, this is the operational area for Arne Courtship. The biologist heads up a unique project, the Nandu Monitoring Working Group. Conservationists and scientists have joined forces to study these unusual creatures, as currently little is known about them. What impact do Rheas have on nature and agriculture? To find answers to these questions, Arne Courtship has been tracking these birds for years. He travels to the former inner German border in the north of Germany, because in this sparsely populated region, there's a ritual that takes place every winter. Around 30 conservationists, locals and farmers meet up to carry out a Rhea head count. The birds inhabit an area covering nearly 100 square kilometers, and the volunteers are there to monitor this habitat. As the exotic creature is unknown to many people here, Arne Courtship shares his Rhea lore with them.
The important thing is to identify the gender correctly. The males are striking. They mostly have an intensely black breast. The black transitioning to the neck area. The plumage on the head, especially now in winter, is always a bit ruffled, as you can see here. And the females are different. They are overall far more slender, not as hefty, and their behavior is different to the males, who puff themselves up grandly and hold their heads very high.
At the turn of the millennium, 7 Rheas broke out of a private enclosure in the neighboring German state of Schleswig-Holstein and were not recaptured. Hardly anyone expected the birds to survive and multiply in Mecklenburg-Western Pomerania. Rheas are active during the day. Their large wings are not designed for flight. The birds can only run. This makes it easier to count them. But still, not all the grey birds round here are Rheas.
They can be confused with cranes, especially in bad weather, because cranes are also grey, but they are built differently. The crane's body tapers closer to the ground, while the Rheas look rounder. So it's quite possible that if you aren't an expert, you could confuse them with cranes.
But only until these grey birds take off, that is. Rheas can't do that. They like wide open spaces, which they have everywhere in this vast arable landscape. The birds can trot for several kilometers a day in search of food. That's why Arne needs plenty of volunteers who can walk long distances. The counters follow the birds on foot for hours. Although this is somewhat disruptive for the Rheas, other animals are far more affected by the human invasion. Descended from captive animals, these flightless birds, or ratites, don't maintain a great distance for their escape, unlike deer who view humans in a field as danger. They have long been hunted and are wary. Because the number of Rheas is increasing, the Federal Agency for Nature Conservation has put them on an observation list for alien species that could pose a threat to indigenous flora and fauna. Specimens with light-coloured plumage are quite common. Even though these white giants shine like beacons, their conspicuous plumage seems not to be a disadvantage. There are quite a few of them among their grey-brown relatives.
They aren't albinos. It's a kind of genetic defect. The animals have white plumage, though it's not altogether white. There are some darker areas, and they also have blue eyes. That's quite a common feature among this particular species of Rhea americana that we have here. It occurs quite often.
The results of this tally? In 19 years, the original 7 Rheas now number around 450. An increasing number of birds living in the same area because they only extend their territory a little, as Anna notes. They seem to find everything they need in this corner of Mecklenburg. Things are tranquil in the villages of Utrecht, Schattin, Schlagsdorf and Rheas. At first sight, nothing much seems to have changed, except for the Rheas. In large flocks of up to 40 birds, they roam the fields in winter, not always to the delight of local residents, because the sheer numbers make it look like an alien invasion. Even the cranes prefer to keep their distance from these heavyweights. The deer, on the other hand, have come to terms with the watchful birds and spend more time nearby. Rheas have good eyesight, and being tall, they can see far into the distance. The deer, on the other hand, have a better sense of smell, a convenient partnership between the old and new wild animals against common enemies. Actually, thanks to their average height of 1.40 meters, the two-legged animals have little to fear. Their weapons are a sharp beak and strong feet that they use for kicking. They still have to stay alert. The greatest danger lurks when their trails cross country roads. The coast seems clear. Most of the rest of the rank and file decide to follow. That was all okay, wasn't it? But someone always brings up the rear. Too busy. This Rhea decides on a different route. Just as well, every year many of his fellows die in road accidents. This one made the right choice. In a nearby nature reserve, there's a mixed orchard. Apples are delicious, but not so easy to manage. Success at last. He gets a grip on the round red fruit and sends it on the rather lengthy route to his stomach. Part of his territory lies in a biosphere reserve. Here, a herd of cattle ensures, through their appetites and their weight, that no trees can grow back, which leaves open meadows. Ideal for Rheas. Grey geese also benefit from the conservation area with its expansive fields. Whooper swans rest up in winter on neighbouring farmers' fields and nibble away at the young rapeseed plants. They do a fair bit of damage, but as they're migrating birds, these snowy airborne travellers never consume too much in any one place. Arne Courtship is on the big bird's trail. He's conducting field research for his studies on the damage they do, because the extensive farmlands are a paradise for these mainly plant eaters. Caught in the act. Piles of harvested beets are a feast for Rheas, and definitely worth squabbling over. These heavyweights weigh up to 35 kilograms. Calorie-laden foods ensure they get enough nutrients in winter, so they'll spend hours eating their fill of these sugar beets. Unless they're interrupted. Through examining the stomach contents of dead birds, researchers know that a single Rhea eats up to 1.5 kilograms of mainly plant food every day. The farmer's convenient beet store makes it easy for the birds to literally dig in.
Ja, hier sieht man jetzt ganz schön.
Okay, so here you can see quite clearly that Rheas can also cause damage, as you can tell from these harvested sugar beets. They have the kind of beak that lets them consume really hard foods. Of course, the farmers aren't that keen on them eating away at their beet harvest.
In a neighbouring field, young winter rapeseed plants are also popular. The birds go for the fresh shoots with gusto. Like a big-beaked glutton, they never seem to stop, helping themselves in broad daylight to the produce in the fields of Mecklenburg. And not a feather on their bodies could be touched, because according to the Federal Nature Conservation Act, Rheas were a specially protected species, and because they weren't made provision for, they weren't subject to hunting regulations. For a long time, they grazed unhindered in a legal vacuum, literally in a grey area. A problem for farmers because this region depends on agriculture. Farming is an important source of income. Uwe Janssen also cultivates his fields in Rhea land and is annoyed at having his crops pilfered by the uninvited guests. No sooner has he planted his wheat than a portion of it has already disappeared. The birds leave nibbled seeds behind. No matter what he plants, it lands up in a lot of beaks.
Wherever they are, they cause immense damage. When the rapeseed plants are a bit taller, they pinch off the top so it looks like someone has cut them with a hedge trimmer. It's really, well, it's quite astonishing. Not single animals, but if there's a flock of 40, then it's pretty extreme what we've got here. Wherever they go, there's almost total crop loss. I worked out that a Rhea causes €100 worth of damage that I have to reckon with just to feed it.
Uwe Janssen and his colleagues have tried several ways to get rid of the problematic birds. They've chased them with motorcycles, put up electrified fences, and played the sounds of a roaring puma through loudspeakers, all to no avail.
What do I think about the birds? I'd probably think they're okay where they belong, in their own habitat. But in my opinion, animals that were physically brought here have no business here, because it wasn't their choice. They've come to terms with it because it's a good opportunity. It's a good biosphere for them. But the cranes also cause damage. It's not so bad because they can fly away. 15 kilometers from here, they simply belong. But the others don't belong here at all. They're not part of our flora and fauna, so their numbers should be decimated to limit the damage they do.
This is the ancestral homeland of the forebears of German Nandus, South America, where guanacos live, in the pampas. It's home to other ratites, or flightless birds. There's even a second species, Darwin's Rhea. The smaller cousin of the Rhea americana inhabits mountainous regions and shrub savannas right down to the coast. Rheas are not related to either ostriches or emus, although they look like them. They belong in their own group. Their habitats are disappearing. In their homeland, both Rhea species are considered rare. Unlike in Germany, here their numbers are growing. From a Rhea point of view, Mecklenburg's farmland is a pampa that has everything they need to survive. Even the climate is no drawback. Mild winters are good for their reproduction. Kept warm by their plumage, of all the large flightless birds, they have the longest wings. In the 19th century, their feathers were highly prized in South America. In the fashion industry, they were transformed by the ton into hats and stoles, but they were also bound up for use as feather dusters. Apart from their beaks and feet, Rheas will also use their wings to defend themselves if they feel threatened. There have occasionally been reports by dog walkers of attacks on their animals. Spectators have nothing to fear. In winter, they can still watch a spectacle of nature, outdoors and absolutely free. From December through to March, the males compete for the females and for territory, each trying to appear bigger and more dominant to impress their rivals. Here in the cool north, these dancers display some South American temperament. Bolt upright with effort, the birds can reach an imposing 6 feet in height. Hissing, kicking, pecking and chasing at up to 60 kilometers an hour, that's how Rheas fight for dominion over the females. The competition continues until one of them is defeated in the neck wrestling discipline. The clear winner. In a neighboring village, biologist Arne Courtship's monitoring team meets up. They prepare the drugs they will be using to anesthetize the males. Selected birds will have transmitters strapped to them so that their movements can be tracked by satellite and followed by Arne Courtship on his laptop. In this way, he will find out where the Rheas are at various times of the day. In the morning, the birds leave the protective thicket of the forest patches to forage for food. The researchers are already on their trail. They spread out strategically across the field so that no bird can escape them. The anesthetic gun is loaded and ready. A strike. Now they have to wait. As soon as someone has thrown a cover over the animal, the team moves in. The cloth prevents the bird's eyes from drying out and helps to keep it calm. The transmitter is fitted quickly, and to ensure the bird gets enough oxygen during the anesthetic, it is given artificial respiration.
Okay, you can set it all up so we can start weighing.
The rest is collecting data for science.
Fertig? 1.
37? Okay, down.
Runter.
Fertig.
Runter, 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 runter.
Genau, die Waage festhalten, dass das nicht da drauf knallt.
Finally, the animal is given a wake-up shot and released under observation. The bird is on its feet and fine. In late winter, the male Rheas start their courtship rituals. They emit unusually deep, muffled calls. They sound a bit like Nandu. This is how the males draw the female's attention, because every male likes to surround himself with as many females as possible. The Rheas have adapted themselves perfectly to their new German home. The mating season in late winter ensures that the chicks have enough to eat in spring. the bird nuptials begin. Twitching, prancing, puffing up. Wing spreading is intended to impress too. Pecking is also a part of their courtship dance. And finally, the moment arrives. The male mates with the female. In the coming days, he'll make other members of his harem happy too. Every female lays its eggs in or near her partner's nest. In May, Arne Courtship moves in again. The researcher is now counting the nesting sites. He uses a drone to search for the giant birds, as in the high vegetation, it's like looking for a needle in a haystack. Among Rheas, it's the male who broods. The females leave him to get on with it. Once the bird is scared away, Arne Courtship approaches the nest. Even from nearby, it's hard to find, also for potential enemies. There are only 4 eggs in this one, but up to 30 could still come, because many females will each lay several eggs over a period of days near the hollow. The male then rolls them into the clutch. The eggs are quite heavy, over 700 grams, 12 times the weight of a chicken's egg. The male could well be sitting on eggs someone else has fathered, because the females don't only belong to his harem. Brooding takes 5 to 6 weeks. Although the eggs were laid over a period of time, the chicks all hatch on the same day. The research reveals that not all the eggs were fertilized. Part of the Rhea's breeding success strategy is that the strong males defend their eggs. The biologist's work here isn't entirely risk-free.
Of course, if you tamper with their nests, do anything with the eggs, it's quite possible that the bird might come back and threaten you.
Arne Courtship is lucky. The bird watches from nearby, but waits until the researcher has finished his work. The father bird won't abandon his brood, but it isn't unusual for him to disappear for a short while to forage for food. In the hot sunshine, the eggs don't cool down so quickly. The full responsibility for the offspring lies with the solo parent male. The eggs could be taken by eagles, but also by foxes or raccoon dogs, also an immigrant species. Sometimes a herd of wild boars will destroy a nest, but the biggest enemy is two-legged.
Some people don't want Rheas running around on their land, but it's quite possible that some just take the eggs and turn them into an omelet.
Just 3 chicks follow this father bird, together with a few other relatives. While they're still this small, they're easy prey for enemies, especially from above. The male stays vigilant. For now, the little ones around him have nothing to fear. Nonetheless, nearly half of all chicks die within their first year. It's not easy for an adult bird to take the right decision. This chap waits until it seems all is clear. He stays alert. His friends aren't following him. But the impressive male ventures out from his cover. No problem, at least that's what it looks like, but the father, Rhea, is not alone. The grass is shorter at the roadside. It's at beak level for the little ones. That's why he brought them here. But danger lurks. "12, 13, 14, 15, 16. A whole kindergarten. The male Rhea appears to get everything quickly under control. Still, there must be better places to clean your plumage or forage than a roadside, surely. The next challenge. The chicks are confused. Should they follow the cyclist or Daddy Bird? But he rounds them up again. The adventure is over. The male bird disappears into the grass. But the little ones can't see him anymore among all the long stalks. So they call him. The answer: he clatters with his beak. At last he's got his troop together again, and they all vanish into the undergrowth. The chicks have plenty of challenges to overcome. In the open landscape, they're almost entirely unprotected. Mario Axel is a ranger in the Schalsee Nature Reserve. He watches over the wildlife here. Some of the immigrant creatures' territory lies in his protected area. He's not especially happy about the alien birds. The biosphere reserve is meant to be for eagles and cranes.
For me personally, it's always been the case that when I see a Rhea in this countryside, in this region, it's not really a harmonious picture. Maybe it'll take another 10 years or so, perhaps it'll be better then.
This harmonious picture lies between the cities of Hamburg, Luebeck and Schwerin. In an area covering 300 square kilometers, it's a species-rich, cultivated landscape with forests, marshes and lakes, but also pastures and wetlands.
This is how one imagines an intact environment. Cattle grazing peacefully, a few wild animals quietly relaxing in the foreground.
The crane is a typical bird for the region. Even though the ranger hasn't noticed any adverse effects on the local so-called lucky birds by the Rheas, he doesn't really trust the newcomers. So Mario Axel and his colleagues have repeatedly taken action to curb the numbers, drilling holes in their eggs or covering them with kerosene so that no chicks could hatch. But that didn't really help, because often the males would brood a second clutch of eggs somewhere else. While looking for chicks, Mario Axel made a discovery. It's the male Rhea with the transmitter. It's part of the researchers' observation program that began here 6 months earlier. It's important for their data collection to know whether the male is accompanied by chicks. At a steady pace, the ranger approaches the animal hiding in the grass. A chick has climbed onto the back of the father bird. From there, it has a better view. The days-old chick uses its parents' plumage as an umbrella and warm blanket. The adult bird has hidden more of his offspring among his feathers. This guarantees their safety. As a precautionary measure, he stays near the chicks for the first 6 months of their lives, until the little fluffy balls turn into big grey ones. The Rhea actually has what it takes to become a poster child for the region and the biosphere reserve.
With its pretty face, large beak, those big eyes and long eyelashes, it's really popular, no question about it. But still, it gives the impression that it just doesn't belong here.
19 years after settling here, it's become a topic for political bigwigs. A field trip to see the Rheas. A genuine minister of the environment gets a personal situation report from the rangers. Till Backhaus regards the alien birds as a disruptive element.
This is actually an invasive species. They don't belong here. They don't have their basic needs here. But they reproduce here. And that's why we need to check whether it's not potentially causing harm to the indigenous biodiversity.
Some suspect that the chicks eat lizards and rare insects. What is certain is that the Rheas eat seeds, and the farmers are annoyed by the damage they do. That's reported everywhere. Rules governing how to deal with the problematic bird must be established. A short way from Luebeck city, the authorities are in a dilemma. Rheas are threatened in South America, but in Germany they're a problem. What should one do? The Environment Ministry of Mecklenburg-Western Pomerania decides, in year 20 after their immigration, fire at will. The Rheas land up governed by the hunting regulations. From now on, chicks and yearlings may be hunted all year round, and adult males and females in winter. A new experience for the birds, as they've never been hunted here before and don't regard humans as enemies. They don't run away. A well-aimed shot to the heart is all it takes. Neither the Hunting Association nor the authorities want to eradicate the species. The official objective, merely to reduce the large numbers on Mecklenburg's farmland. There is no protest. Rheas have no lobby in a foreign country. Only time will tell whether the birds in northern Germany will become more timid as a result of being hunted. In South America, the species in the wild often stay far away from humans. Rheas are true survival experts. This is demonstrated by another observation made by the scientists. If a father bird drops out in summer, other male birds will take on his chicks and adopt them. And these birds in exile have no natural enemies, such as pumas or jaguars in South America, to worry about. The opposition is manageable. Only one creature can disrupt this idyll. The fox. Here, it's satisfied with small prey, perhaps also because Rheas know how to defend themselves. But the fox's bigger brother may soon pose a danger to the birds. Wolves. They're advancing in this region too. Occasionally, dead Rheas are found lying in the fields. Their corpses are a boon for Arne Courtshals. He can read the feathers and bones, thereby gaining important information about the animals. Laboratory research reveals their age and sex. From the contents of their stomachs, the biologist can tell what they eat. Courtshals can't confirm the accusation that Rheas endanger rare insects and lizards.
This here is a bit of the pelvis that's left, and the neck area. There's not much more on it. We don't know what the Rhea died of. You can't tell anymore if it was hunted or attacked by an animal. If you look here, you can see several places where different animals have gnawed on it. Probably a fox or other predators. Well, that's nature.
Many farmers are happy at every dead Rhea. Uwe Janssen also contributes to the demise of the seed eaters. Up till now, the birds have just been killed. In South America, they use their skin as leather, and they eat the meat.
With Rheas, I get the sense that, well, we've got foxes too, and also predators, but they don't seem to taste good. If you've tried them, it's not like ostrich. It's a pity. It's a flightless bird. It's got good meat. If it caught on here and fitted in with the region, it could actually be marketed with it. People always have ideas like that. There are plenty of hunters and butchers trying out recipes so that rare meat can be used somehow. That could perhaps be an option.
Marketing instead of extermination may be a way of living with the Rheas. The big birds have long been an insider tip for nature lovers and tourists who come here especially because of the animals, and sometimes cause tricky situations. The Rhea looks funny, is easy to observe, and is not dangerous, a unique selling point for the region. Not far away, Lake Ratzeburg beckons. It's a popular vacation destination, ideal for hiking, sailing and other water sports. And for many visitors during the summer season, an excursion from this idyll for a Rhea safari is well worth it. By late summer, the chicks are independent. It takes 2 years for them to mature and produce their own offspring. In the wild, their lifespan can be up to 25 years. They're not especially fussy eaters. Anything green will do. Only when young will they sometimes snap up insects as a source of protein. Later, they become wholly vegetarian, to the detriment of the farmers. In large flocks, they can trample and destroy seeds with their weight. The birds usually move along steadily while they're foraging. They don't actually consume much food in a single place. In this way, they often avoid over-exploiting their food source. So are Rheas actually all that bad? Arne Courtship's research has produced no evidence of any negative effect that the invasive birds might have on the indigenous flora and fauna in their distribution area. From a biological point of view at least, there's been no reason to exterminate the creatures. But further research is needed to assess more accurately their impact on nature in Mecklenburg. The goal of the authorities is to retain a limited number of the birds that can't cause too much damage, also for the farmers. In the Schalsee Biosphere Reserve, the Rheas don't bother the farmers. They can relax. Undisturbed, these birds from the steppes can take a dust bath instead of bathing in water. It cleanses their feathers and skin of parasites. Finally, they shake the dust from their plumage, just as their relatives do in their dry, native South American homeland. Rheas exhibit other behaviors of their wild forebears here in this country, but in addition, they've also adapted to the local climate, food, and neighbours. Alongside the cranes, these exotic birds have lived successfully in a small area of northern Germany for 20 years, reproducing independently for generations. So when is a species native? Even the cultivated plants they graze on here were originally imported, almost without exception. Perhaps the use of Rheas is the solution for the bird problem. If tourism and the regional cuisine could benefit from it, the animal would be more readily accepted. The environment is dynamic. The planet is in flux. While in their homeland this species is threatened with extinction, nature lovers on the other side of the planet can admire these strange giant birds in Europe, but only here, in the Mecklenburg savanna of the Rheas.